sometimes you just scratch out a win. I mean, and no matter how you get it, it's always better to win. That's what we're going with. But give that team a lot of credit. That's how they play, and they make it look tough a lot of times, and it's tough to score on them. But I give our guys a lot of credit with their stick-to-itness.
You seemed like you had to get really creative with some lineups, and that second unit in the second quarter did give you that burst. I mean, what made you want to go as big as you did there, and what worked for you?
Well, it was. I'd say I'm big on matchups and seeing what situations. We're thin right now. I mean, there's no way around it. So you have to try to figure things out and buy some minutes to get some guys some rest, which probably proved to be a healthy thing as we had guys getting in the 40s minutes-wise late in the game. So the fact that we were able to get Andrew a little bit of rest too at times, and then go with Lou and Anthony was great. Lou was good. Dario hit some big shots too. We were able to find a way.
I think you're the first coach to go with 4 big guys in like 30 years, or?
I guess, I don't know. It was just kind of where we were at, and the one thing I've said over and over is that we have professionals on this team and they care about each other, and for that reason I feel like guys can step up when it might be a role that they might not be used to, or people might think is not where they should be, but we needed it tonight. It was a game that we needed bodies, and Anthony is able to stretch the floor too, and that was one of the reasons that he was able to get thrown in there with other bigs too.
Talked about Jared's professionalism, being ready to play, but I mean tonight he might have been your best player on the court. I mean, what did you just think of his performance as a whole?
Yeah, no, he was good. I mean, he had 19 points, 12 assists, and 0 turnovers. I mean, that's big. From a point guard position, playing 43 minutes. I mean, you give him all the credit. You can give somebody. So he was great in stepping up when other guys might have had nights where they might have been off or just weren't able to be on the court as much.
Okogie began to drop out of some of the rotations. Was that just strictly foul trouble, or was that other things you saw?
Yeah, a little bit of both. The foul trouble, I thought I wanted to use him at the end with Conley and stuff too, but I, as you guys can see, a lot of it is, hey, if guys are rolling, if guys are playing well, we're gonna let them keep going, and we were okay at the time. Matchups weren't necessarily hurting us, and then you want to build trust in late game situations too, and so that was kind of why we just stood pat for that reason. But Josh was in the plans, but those other guys played well.
Coach, the shot that Carl hit to win it was not an easy shot. Can you just sort of take us through the final play, what you'd hoped to see and what you actually did see?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things too that with that team, they're so good in the half court defensively, and they're so good when their defense gets set, which is why you don't necessarily want to call, why I didn't opt to call a timeout. If things started getting, where it was getting where we weren't going to be able to get any shot off, then we'd call a timeout. But hey, Carl made a tough shot. I mean, that's the only way you can put it.
Ryan, thinking back to last time you guys played Memphis, kind of at the end of the game, Conley and Gasol kind of took over with the high screen and roll. They didn't seem to do that at all. Was that something that you guys were doing defensively with maybe Taj on Mark, or what did you see from their offense at the end there?
Yeah, we liked that matchup with Taj because he's active and he's able to show and impact the ball too, and he's got good instincts. And guys worked hard yesterday in practice. We spent a lot of time within that in terms of trying to guard, just the ball and the screener, because we knew that was going to be important, and it proved to be important today.
After not calling timeout at the end of regulation, did you like the look that Jared was able to get?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, I probably wouldn't call timeout again, because I like when you got guys on their heels. If it goes in, it's a great call. But hey, it didn't go in. Could we have maybe gotten a better shot? Possibly. But like I said, with this team, with Memphis's defense, when they set their defense, they're really hard to score on. So we wanted to keep them on their heels.
Talked a little bit about Taj as being able to impact the ball and his instincts. I mean, it seems like nobody makes more clutch, I guess, defensive plays than him. Just from a coach's perspective, what's it like to kind of see him consistently come through on that end of the floor?
Yeah, I mean, Taj is a winner. I mean, that's the only way to put it. He's a guy who he does everything that you ask him to and more, and he leaves it all out there. So it's we needed all of it tonight, and just the way he defended and the way he stood Mark up. Mark's hard to guard, so we needed all that.
Should Carl be an all-star?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Late in the game like that, Jared taking the final shot regulation, Andrew had the ball before Carl got the rebound. Everybody kind of have the green light to take that shot in the final seconds there, or are you drawing specific things up in those situations? Obviously, Jared's was a little chaotic.
Yeah. I mean, in a situation like that, when they have the ball up top, and like I like Andrew's chances when he's in isolation too. He proved to do that. In LA, he proved to do that in Oklahoma City with things as well. And then Jared had it going tonight. So it was one of those things that, hey, I had confidence in those guys, and we thought Memphis was on their heels a little bit, maybe a little winded as well. So have confidence in them.
You began the game with a couple of dip-ins for Wiggs, which typically, I mean, he's usually a jump shooter in the first quarter, first couple of plays out. It looked like a purposeful thing to kind of get him oriented toward the hoop. I wound up 4 for 19, some of that being cold, but is the plan basically to try to structure the system a little bit more so Wiggs is really downhill, and that's the loud and clear message? Yeah,
I mean, we want everybody to get downhill with things, but yeah, getting to the rim is one of his best assets. So we like when he's aggressive.